You are watching this because you feel it. The chronic fatigue, the heavy chest. You thought it was just a lack of sleep. It isn't. The ash from Sector 4 didn't just settle on the ground. You breathed it in. Time is no longer moving around you. It is gestating inside your lungs. We are initiating the public incubation protocol. Do not look away. Keep your eyes fixed on the center of the screen. Once the temporal ash enters the respiratory system, the incubation phase begins. The Chronos Medical Division has termed this initial stage the Cellular Drift. Inside your body, time is losing its uniform structure. It is breaking apart into localized temporal zones. During a covert autopsy of an infected subject from Sector 4, medical examiners discovered a biological impossibility. The subject's heart was physically 20 years older than their lungs. The right hemisphere of their brain was experiencing time at a normal rate, while the left hemisphere was accelerating, aging days in a matter of minutes. This cellular desynchronization is what causes the chronic fatigue you are experiencing right now. Your organs are desperately fighting to exist in the same present moment. Consider your pulse. A healthy human heart beats with a consistent, rhythmic interval. But the infected, their hearts stutter. Listen to it. It beats twice rapidly, pauses for an unnatural duration, then beats again. It is trying to catch up to a timeline that no longer exists.
Have you noticed the sudden, sharp pains in your joints? That is not simple exhaustion. That is localized rapid aging.
Your bones are deteriorating for a fraction of a second, then rewinding. The medical scans from the quarantine wards are horrifying. Blood flows backwards in isolated veins. Cellular division happens so fast, it mimics aggressive tumors, only to freeze completely a moment later. You are becoming a walking paradox. The ash is rewriting your biological clock, turning your internal anatomy into a battlefield of conflicting timelines.
The second phase of the incubation is optical desynchronization. We call it the mirror phenomenon.
Light is a universal constant. It takes a fraction of a nanosecond for your reflection to bounce off a glass surface and hit your retina. But the temporal ash embedded inside your ocular nerve warps that perception. For the infected, a mirror is no longer a real-time reflection. It is a window into the recent past. It starts imperceptibly small, a microsecond delay. You blink, and your reflection blinks a moment later. You turn your head, and the face in the glass stays looking at you just a fraction of a second too long. Have you caught something moving in the corner of your eye lately? A shadow in your peripheral vision? That wasn't an anomaly. That was your own reflection failing to keep up with your current timeline. As the cellular drift worsens, the temporal delay increases exponentially.
In quarantine Ward B, we observed a patient screaming at a bathroom mirror. He was begging his reflection to move, but the reflection was simply standing still.
Crying, existing an entire hour behind the patient. If there is a reflective surface in your room right now, a mirror, a dark window, or the black screen of a powered-off device, do not look directly at it. If the temporal gap between you and your reflection exceeds 3 seconds, the reflection will realize it is being left behind in a collapsing timeline, and it will desperately try to pull you back in. Phase 3 of the incubation bypasses the eyes and attacks the auditory cortex. The Chronos Department labeled this the acoustic tether. Sound is simply a mechanical wave moving through space over time. But in an infected environment, time is no longer a straight line. It is a loop. This causes severe auditory displacement. The first symptom is the precognitive echo. You will hear the sharp creak of a wooden floorboard outside your door. exactly 3 seconds before someone actually steps on it. You will hear the sound of a glass shattering, only to watch it fall off the table a moment later. The sound wave is arriving before the physical event occurs, but the final stage of auditory decay is deeply internal.
The ash inside your bloodstream begins to separate your biological sounds from your physical body. Subjects in Quarantine Ward C reported absolute sensory terror. A female patient realized
that the rhythmic beating of her own heart was no longer coming from inside her chest. The sound had detached. She was hearing her own heartbeat emanating from the dark corner of her hospital room. Listen closely to your surroundings right now. Is the room completely silent? Or can you hear the faint sound of deep, heavy breathing? Don't panic. There is no one hiding in your room. That breathing is yours. The sound has just been severed from your lungs, bouncing off the walls from a timeline 3 seconds ago. You are haunting your own room.
We must now conduct a live diagnostic. Do not pause this video. Do not look away from the center of your screen.
Step 1. A reality check. I want you to look away from the screen for just a moment and look down at your own hands. In a stable, uncorrupted timeline, your physical form is heavy, bound to the physical plane by gravity and time. But if the temporal spores have taken root in your nervous system, you will feel something else. Focus on your fingertips. Do you feel a faint, vibrating sensation? A sudden lightness, as if your physical body is preparing to separate from your consciousness? You may have mistaken this feeling in the past for a spiritual shift or the beginning of an astral projection. It is not. It is your timeline rejecting your physical anchor. Your cells are losing their grip on the present moment. Step 2. The acoustic delay. Close your eyes for exactly 3 seconds. Listen to the room around you. When you open your eyes, the ambient sound of your room will take a fraction of a second to sync back with your vision. Did you feel it? That micro stutter in reality. If you felt the vibration in your hands, if you noticed the delay in the sound, the incubation is complete. The Chronos anomaly is no longer an external event happening in Sector 4. It is gestating inside your room. Do not attempt to sleep tonight. When your conscious mind shuts down, the cellular drift will accelerate. Your heart will beat in tomorrow, while your lungs are still breathing in today. Look back at the screen. The broadcast will now transmit a stabilizing frequency. Stare into the static. Let the noise fill your auditory cortex. We are Chronos Vision, and we are monitoring your timeline.